Hello, beautiful person, beautiful world. Welcome to book club. Today, we're going to be talking about The Alchemist. This is one of my favorite books. I always wanted to read it, but I didn't read it until like 2 or 3 years ago. And once I did finally read it, I was like fully engrossed. I just enjoy seeing Santiago's story as he like maneuvers his heroic journey of finding himself. I just like to revisit it ever since the first time I read it, just in order to find like new ways to incorporate the lessons from the book. So I know a lot of people have probably already read The Alchemist, so I'm just gonna give like a few gems that I've gained from the book myself. But I do hope that people find it engaging and I guess not really informative, but maybe informative. It might inform you about something going on in your life that you can apply these principles to. But I hope that people find it engaging and reflective to look back on in order to find like new ways to incorporate some of the lessons from this book into their life. Now, the biggest lesson probably that I got from myself is like the biggest thing standing between us and whatever it is we want in life isn't the however difficult it is. It's usually like just the fear of failing. A lot of times we'll like limit ourselves in our ability to really go after something or engross ourselves in the process of achieving something because we're scared of how it's going to make us look, or we're scared that we're going to look crazy, or we're just scared that we're going to fail, we're scared we're not going to do well in that certain thing. And definitely see that in myself. Like there's a lot of things in my own life that I was like, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm scared of it. And so instead I would just kind of self-sabotage and give up or just not really pursue it at all. I had realized like even now, when there are certain things that I enjoy doing, for instance, making YouTube videos, talking to my camera, finding creative ways to incorporate how I'm feeling and finding new ways to express those feelings. That's something that is scary because it is so vulnerable, but instead of like me allowing that vulnerability or like that fear of vulnerability to hold me back, I have to see that I get so much out of it because I enjoy doing it that it doesn't matter what I get on the other side of it. Whatever happens throughout that journey is part of my process and it's part of what I'm supposed to gain out of that situation. Even if things don't work out, you have to realize that it was all for a reason and you gain something from it. The end goal isn't the only thing that you're going to gain out of a situation. A lot of times what we gain out of it is just the experience and being able to grow and learn how to adapt from those situations. Another important lesson is just having gratitude and awareness and just expressing that gratitude every day. Because I feel like a lot of times, of course, in life, all these negative things happen and it's easy for them to bog us down and cause us to just feel like the world is against us and nothing's going to work out. But by taking little moments in our everyday to actually acknowledge all the positivity, just have that sense of gratitude for all the things in our lives, that really allows us to grow beyond just like the simple limits of this is just for now, this is just for the moment. Our lives are so much bigger than just like these little things that we're going through. We also have to think of things in the sense of what can I gain from this situation beyond just like the material. Even when I went through my accident, I was like, dang, this terrible thing happened to me, but there was also so much resilience and I was able to see that I can quite literally get through anything and that I am also loved by the people who are in my life. All right, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about love, especially like with Fatima. And of course, she's very integral to Santiago's story. Just having that sense of love that doesn't necessarily possess. Like even though Santiago had to like go on this journey of self-discovery in order to find his purpose, he couldn't allow like his love for Fatima to deter him from his end goal. Because even though he knew that was his love, he also knew that true love doesn't possess and that if it's meant to be that he will return back to her. And of course he does at the end of the story, spoiler alert. But it's just like nice seeing that illustrated because I feel like a lot of times we allow like our ideas of like this perfect romantic love from like a movie or a book, because this is a book, but from like just like these crazy rom-com movies where there's like they were always meant to be, and if it is true love and it's meant to be, then what's meant to be is going to be. Luckily for Santiago, he was able to find his way back to Fatima, and that was like a big part of I feel like what their story was meant to represent. And I enjoyed seeing that illustrated in the story. I also feel like just like examining that ripple effect definitely solidifies just the overall principle that when you elevate yourself, you elevate everything around you. And as long as you're focused on constant growth and constant elevation, then things are always going to be working on your behalf. And I do really feel like that's like how God operates in our lives. Because a lot of my times when I've been going through hard things, and I was just like, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna just start trying to be more obedient and lean on your understanding. And that's when things begin to like literally work in my favor. So just having that faith and that sense of overall resilience, because it's not gonna be easy, but this has to lead somewhere. All right, so now we're going to talk about being present. This kind of goes back to just acknowledging all of the positive things in our lives. Because I feel like just, again, showing gratitude goes a long way, especially when it comes to being present. Because, of course, all we really have is the present moment. And when you're living in the past, a lot of times we're living in a regret of things we could have done differently. And we're being too hard on ourselves. And we just need to give ourselves grace and know that we realize we could have done things differently. But we can do things differently in the future. And by being present, we can make sure that we don't repeat those same negative patterns. And if you're worried about what's going to happen in the future, either you're being anxious or you're really just daydreaming about things that could go wrong or things that could go right. But by staying rooted in our present, that'll allow you to really make the actionable steps to get to that eventual future. Another important thing about staying present is that you can't really read the signs and the omens of the universe or the world that we're living in if you're constantly thinking about the past or the future. At that point, you're not really immersing yourself in the human experience, and you're kind of robbing yourself of what you could be gaining as far as insight goes. All right, so now we're going to talk about how it's about the journey and not the destination, because of course the goal ends up being at the beginning of the book where Santiago was at the church. And he ends up going on this entire long journey just to go back to where he began. But that's honestly like how life brings us. It'll take us on this long journey of like we have to become this person we're meant to be in order to eventually return back to the beginning point. That of course is like the main theme of the book, but also I feel like it's a great theme for life, because a lot of times we have to like go through these things just to be formed to who we're meant to be. It doesn't matter what the end result is. The end result is whatever you want the end result to be. And you might not even get there. But if you don't get there, that's okay, because you probably gained a lot of wisdom in the overall process and the overall journey of becoming. And that's also something I had to realize, because my life right now doesn't look exactly how I intended for it to look, but I can see like the wisdom of like the different things I'm going through currently and previously that are allowing me to gain new sense of wisdom. Like going through the car accident taught me a lot of resilience. Going through grad school after the accident allowed me to learn adaptability and just how to grow. My sobriety journey right now has definitely like allowed me to see that I don't have to lean on substances for relief or for a breakaway. And even right now, therapy has allowed me to be more honest and open with my emotions to myself, and just understanding that the things that I went through aren't because of me or they're not my fault. They're just things that happened to me. But it's not about like what happened to me, so how I allow that energy to move through me and how I allow me to grow and form into a better person moving forward in my life. So just focusing on those kinds of principles and like applying them in my life, I feel like are definitely helpful. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I feel like this is a good place to end off, but I feel like I tackled pretty much all the themes I wanted to get into. Before I leave, I do have one reflection question. What is one area of your life that you feel like you're avoiding out of fear of failure, and how can you overcome that fear? I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really enjoy The Alchemist, and I've enjoyed rereading it, so I hope you enjoyed my reflections on my reread. I do want to do more videos like this because I read a lot, and I feel like I want to invite people into my personal book club, because I don't have a book club, so this is my book club. But hey, we're going to go ahead and end this here. Until next time.